This is your host, the Maniacs Gaming, coming back at you with another video. In today's video, we are going to be predicting the entirety of the Week 1 regular season for the NFL. So if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure to be dropping a like and subscribing to the channel. We are on the road to 2,000, trying to hit that by the end of the year. Everybody will help. But as you guys know, I'm actually recording this on Wednesday, as you can see in the bottom corner here. I'm recording this on Wednesday, and the NFL season starts tomorrow, which is Thursday. I actually don't even know if you can see that in the bottom corner, but that is besides the point. So anyway, obviously, Week 1, we've got a bunch of games. So let's get right into it. So obviously, we got Baltimore headed to Kansas City to take on the defending reigning Super Bowl champion Chiefs on Thursday Night Football. I think this is actually going to be a really good game, but I think this is going to be one that, like, Mahomes and his offense is going to struggle a little bit against that Ravens defense that's always, a little bit strong. They're one of the best features about that Ravens defense. So, Week 1, I'm going to go with the Ravens to take the win here in Kansas City. I just like the Ravens offense a lot better on paper. Lamar Jackson, reigning defending MVP. King Henry back there will help that running game so much. And then obviously they got a young receiving core that'll be able to help boost Lamar Jackson. So I think that Baltimore will get the win here Week 1. I don't think the score will be this, but automatically the score, I'm not going to try to predict a score. Then we got Green Bay headed to Brazil to take on the Eagles. Again, this is a game like two younger teams. Obviously Jordan Love versus Jalen Hurts. Jordan Love just got paid. Eagles didn't do a whole lot this offseason other than trade away Hassan Reddick and pay A.J. Brown. And then I think they also gave a bunch of other contracts out. But Week 1, obviously, it's in Brazil. So, the Philly crowd and the Packers crowd are both known for traveling very well. But I think early in the season, I'm going to give this to the Packers. Again, I think it comes down to that offense. Obviously, the Eagles' offense is going to have some concern without Jason Kelce leading that line into battle. Whereas the Packers' offense is young. They're brought back most of their guys from last year. I believe they brought back actually everybody now that I'm thinking about it. But it's going to be a team that they're going to be building that chemistry. They're going to build off of it. And I think they've got it. I think they'll be want to know getting a victory here in Brazil. I think this actually could be a realistic score for the game too. And then Pittsburgh at Atlanta. Obviously, both teams have a new starting quarterback. Or, well, two technically quarterbacks if you count the backup. Atlanta getting the Kirk Cousins in free agency, as well as Michael Penix in the draft. And then you have the Steelers. They got Russell Wilson, Justin Fields. Either one could be an option. But I think I'm actually going to... Call me biased if you want. I think this is going to be a Pittsburgh W. I think Kirk Cousins, coming off that Achilles injury, he's going to struggle against that Pittsburgh defense. I think Pittsburgh defense is going to slow Atlanta's offense enough that Pittsburgh's offense is going to get lucky enough times that they're going to be able to score. There's no way this is going to be the final score, 33 points. There's no way unless the defense starts clamping. But absolutely, I could very much see Pittsburgh win in Week 1 against the Falcons here. Then up next, we got the Arizona Cardinals headed to Buffalo to take on the Bills. Bills have Josh Allen and lost 90% of their team last year, from their wide receiver core to their O-line to the defensive secondary. So the Bills are a shell of their former self, but the Arizona Cardinals, their defense is non-existent almost. I'm not a big fan of them, so I'm going to go ahead and take Buffalo here. Not sure how the computer thinks 29-20 is an accurate representation, but here we are. I do think that Arizona, while they have pieces on that offense, Kyler Murray 2 years removed from his ACL injury, Trey McBride, who's been an absolute demon for them at the tight end position, and then obviously the rookie and Marvin Harrison Jr. are going to be looking to take that wide receiver 1 job. I very much think this is a game that Arizona could put up some points in, but I think when it comes down to it, the team that has a little bit more experience is going to win. Give me Buffalo. Next up, we got the Titans taking on the Chicago Bears, led by Caleb Williams. Can Mayo Man, a.k.a. Will Levis, suit up and bring the Titans a win, or is Caleb Williams going to get the win in his NFL debut? Obviously, both these teams upgraded in certain areas. Obviously, Titans went ahead and got L'Jarius Sneed, They also got Calvin Ridley to help out the offense. So I like what the Titans are building there, but I don't think they're going to gel very well week one, especially with D-Hop expected not to play. So I think I would give this to the Chicago Bears because of their receiving core. I think it's just a little bit better overall, obviously, because, they've got DJ Moore, who's been there. They got Rome Odunze, the rookie, and then they got Keenan Allen. Plus they got Cole Kmet, who's a great tight end for what he brings to the team. And they've also got Swift in the backfield to help bring some pressure off of that run game if he can keep up his form that he had in Philly. Patriots, Bengals. This is no question. It's the Bengals. It is the Bengals. Again, Bengals, Jamar Chase, if he plays week one, that offense is going to be able to put up some points. I don't think they'll only put up 15. But New England, they do not have much of anything outside of a run game. They have no bona fide wide receiver one. The running backs, obviously, Ramondre Stevenson's great. Tight end, I believe they still have Hunter Henry. So again, tight end's going to be fine for them. But it's just something like that defense. They trade away Matt Judon. I think they're going to struggle. And I think the Bengals are going to go ahead and get the victory in New England. New regime with the new head coach, new GM. It's going to be a rough week for New England week one, in my opinion. But again, I could see it being close just because it's the Patriots. They'll find a way somehow. Next up, Texans at the Colts. Colts obviously put banking on Anthony Richardson to be that guy that they expected him to be when they drafted him last year. And the Texans are hoping to keep the CJ Stroud hype train going and be able to improve from last year. Obviously, there's a lot of pieces here that move on both sides. Obviously, the Texans traded for Stephon Diggs, and the Colts let Gardner Minshew walk, but signed Joe Flacco. So again, a lot of moving pieces on both sides, but I am going to give it to Houston here. I just think on paper, Houston's offense, they have a lot of young guys there. Tank Dell, obviously Nico Collins, who's been great. I think their offense is going to be hard to keep up with. I just do not have faith in that Colts offense being able to put up points against the particularly stingy defense the Texans are going to hopefully be boasting. With the development of such guys such as Derek Stingley, Will Anderson, I very much think that Houston could put up really good fight on offense, and then they're gonna put some clamps on the Colts defensive wise. Next up, you got Jacksonville headed to Miami to take on the Dolphins. Again, this is the story of two teams that paid their quarterbacks this offseason. Trevor Lawrence got a bag, Tua got a bag. Jags are invested heavily on that offensive side of the ball, trying to get Trevor Lawrence some weapons. Brian Thomas, Christian Kirk, who's hopefully going to be healthy after his injury last year. And on Miami's side, they're just trying to build off what they had last year, hopefully be able to beat some winning teams. I think early game in Miami, the Heat's going to be hard for the Jags to keep up with. I know they both play in Florida, but still, the Miami Heat's no joke, especially with how they have their stadium developed. So I would give the win to Miami. Next up, Carolina Panthers and the Saints. Saints being the home team, Carolina coming into Saints with the new head coach, new regime. As much as I would love to pick a Carolina upset here, I'm not going to lie, because obviously this is going to be a game like NFC South. I got to give the Saints the win week one. I do. Because as much as I don't like the Saints, I don't like what they have on offense, that defense is still a good unit. Obviously they got a lot of older guys there, but it's still a good unit overall. And the Panthers, while they have a revamped offense, their defense is not a whole lot of great. They trade away Brian Burns. They're hoping J.C. Horn's going to be healthy. They let a lot of good pieces on that defense walk in free agency. They're rebuilding that defense from the ground up. It's going to be hard for them. I could see a potential upset just because it is the divisional game, but I'd have to go with the Saints here week one. Obviously, Panthers also took Dave Canales, so I'm a little spiteful about that. Alright, next up, we got the Giants taking on the Vikings at home in Jersey. The Vikings were hoping to have J.J. McCarthy for week one. Instead, they got Sam Darnold. Throw to Justin Jefferson and maybe Jordan Addison if he doesn't get punished for his off-the-field issues. I'm assuming at this point he won't, but I feel like it's got to be the Giants. As long as Danny Dimes can go out there and just be a game manager like he was a couple years ago when they made the run to the playoffs, I very much think the Giants win this game. Revamped defense led by Dexter Lawrence, because he's always there. Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau. I think the Giants' defense is going to be a lot for the Vikings offense to be able to get over. I just think the Giants' offense could be one putting up points if Daniel Jones can just be a game manager for them. I just do not see Sam Darnold leading the Vikings to a win over that Giants defense very well. Next up, we got the Las Vegas Raiders headed to the Chargers, where they both have new head coaches. Obviously, the Raiders have an Antonio Pierce, and the Chargers bring Jim Harbaugh on board. Obviously, this team, the Chargers are a team that they don't have a whole lot going for them. Obviously, they don't. They drafted Ladd McConkey to be able to replace Keenan Allen and Mike Williams to hopefully rebuild that secondary, that wide receiver core, make it a little bit younger. Whereas the Raiders, their biggest move of the offseason was obviously getting Christian Wilkins to help beef up that defense, as well as getting Gardner Minshew to battle for the QB1 job, and he wound up winning it. But obviously, Jim, I think, is going to be pounding the rock, and I think it's going to lead to a Chargers victory. On paper, I just don't know. I want to pick the Raiders. I do. Poncho, I'm sorry if you see this. You probably will, though. But on paper, I want to pick the Raiders, but I just can't. Not with that. The uncertainty on the offensive side of the ball for the Raiders is just a little too much. We got to see it in action first. Broncos at Seattle. Geno Smith keeping his starting job for another year versus Bo Nix's Denver Broncos. The new heir to the Denver Broncos throne at quarterback, trying to be the next one to take them to the Super Bowl like Peyton Manning did. But again, I feel like it's got to be Seattle here. Seattle's got a three-headed monster at wide receiver. Plus, that defense is not a joke when it's healthy. It's an absolute lockdown unit, and I just don't think Denver has... Denver lost a lot of key pieces on the defensive side. No more Justin Simmons, and it's just they've had to let a lot of people go just because of the fact that there's the salary cap, and they've been having issues with it. I just think this is going to be a game where, the Seahawks offense is going to be able to walk all over that Denver defense, and they're going to be able to get out of here with a W. But I think Bo Nix shows some flashes week 1. Next up, Commies taking on my Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa. Obviously, the Bucs, the major acquisitions was obviously Graham Barton to be a new starting center. Jalen McMillan, who's going to be the new wide receiver 3, as confirmed by the depth chart that was released just the other day. And then obviously bringing Jordan Whitehead back on the defensive side of the ball to be a strong safety, as well as getting Chris Braswell to be able to be a replacement, hopefully, for JTS. And then on the Commies side, they've got Jaden Daniels to be their big, next in at quarterback, hopefully. He won the starting job week 1. Obviously, Tampa Bay doesn't do as well as rookie quarterbacks C.J. Stroud last year. But, obviously, they've made other moves on that side of the ball. But they got rid of Jahan Dotson, which was an interesting choice considering there's no wide receiver 2 outside of Terry. But then they also got Austin Eckler. And then on defense, they also got Bobby Wagner. So I think, the Commanders are trying to do something over there. They're trying to build that cast around Jaden Daniels. But I feel like it's got to be Tampa. On paper, I just like Tampa a lot better. Obviously, homer bias, you can call it whatever you want. I just think on paper, Tampa Bay's got it. Dallas at Cleveland. Dallas, obviously, this would be much more of a toss-up if it wasn't for that CeeDee Lamb signed his contract and was holding out of week 1. But as of now, obviously, CeeDee's signed his contract. He's going to be playing week 1. So I'd take Dallas. Cleveland's got Deshaun Watson, the quarterback, and he's not been great ever since coming back from his injury. Well, injury and other situations that we won't talk about. But also, no Nick Chubb's going to hurt that offense. The defense, I know, can get some stops, but I feel like Dallas is just going to be able to outpower them and outmaneuver them on the offensive side of the ball to get the win here. Rams at Detroit. Again, this is a wild card rematch. Rams losing Aaron Donald in the offseason, hoping to replace him with a couple of their rookies they drafted. Another year of Puka. Another year of Kupp being removed from his injury-riddled season. Hopefully they can bounce back, but I think week 1, it's got to be Jared Goff and that Detroit offense. A lot of them got bags this offseason and just proving why they were some of the better players last year. So I just think this is a situation where, I feel like it's got to be. I just like that Detroit offense and defense a little bit better than I like the Rams. The Jets Also that was Sunday Night Football, but the Jets at San Fran for Monday Night Football. Who decided this was a good idea to put Aaron Rodgers back on primetime on Monday Night Football again? Yeah, I'm sorry, but until otherwise shown, it's the Niners. It's the Niners. Like, they have to, like, Fred Warner on that offense, they on that defensive side of the ball. They kept Brandon Ayuk, and Rodgers is a good quarterback, but we have to see him play. I do not have faith in Rodgers, so we see him actually play meaningful snaps in a Jets uniform. We have not seen him play an actual game of meaningful football in almost 2 years now. For more than 4 snaps, like, we need to be able to see that he can actually still go back to that form and be that guy for the Jets that they think he can be. Anyway, these are my predictions for the NFL Week 1. Obviously, you can see the playoff participants based on how I picked the games. But obviously, this is only Week 1, so obviously this is going to change as time goes on. But let me know what you guys think down below. Are there changes you guys would have made? Or do you think I did pretty well with my predictions? Let me know. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for me today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on that noti bell on the road to 2,000 subscribers. Trying to hit that by the end of the year. Trying to hit 1,600 by the end of the month. Let's get it, fam. And as always, I will see you guys later. Stay crazy, fam.